Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the third episode of Rant-Om Thoughts, January 1st, 2020. Now, I'm not really big on New Year's Eve resolutions, but after a very narrow brush with homelessness, I for those of you who aren't familiar with me from Facebook, I very nearly wound up on the streets a few months ago. It has given me pause to reevaluate things and set some new goals for self-improvement. I'm going to try to get back on a weight loss regimen. I was doing pretty good up until that stuff that went down in between July and September. The problem, you see, it revolves around being a comfort eater. That's how I cope with depression, anxiety, and stress. And I really need to find some way to some better way to cope with that. Whenever I'm confronted with self-confidence issues, this is something that's been plaguing me for a very long time, all the way back to childhood. I'm going to try to make more of an effort to remember that I do have accomplishments under my belt. I do have laurels that I can rest on. A lot of that's from the work that I do. I have this job now that I enjoy very much, and I will be talking more about that in a future installment. I'm also going to try to not let personal insults get to me. Especially if those insults are coming from people who are just such losers at life that they think that tearing everyone else around them down somehow balances those scales. I want to be able to brush up on my Spanish very soon. There are times where it would have really helped me out on my job. I did take some Spanish in high school. Unfortunately, it was the tourist type Spanish, very stilted, formal. And nothing at all like the colloquial Mexican Spanish spoken out here in the in the Western states. I can't just approach people around here with "Hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo está usted?" That'll just get me laughs and weird looks. I also want to try to take up the guitar again. It was something that I pursued when I was a teenager, and I just gave up on it because my parents weren't really very supportive of that, or really of anything else for that matter. But I want to be able to do that again, not because it'll make me famous or make me money or anything. It's just I just want an outlet out there for my creativity. I want to be able to express myself through music as well as other outlets. 2020. I mean, I could wax eloquently about how this will be the year that I'll sing my song, dance my dance, paint my masterpiece, how it's all going to get better. But these past few years, I've had way too much thrown at me and dumped at me that optimism is very difficult for me. In recent weeks on Facebook, there's been a spate of quote unquote anarchist and voluntarist meme pages that, for some reason or other, has become increasingly hostile to Ron Paul and the liberty movement that grew out of it. And before rather than just dignify it with a response, I'm just hitting the block button. I'm not going to feed those trolls. We're the ones making history here. We're the ones who are accomplishing things, doing things. And those losers, nobody's going to remember them 100 years from now, or even 100 days from now. Well, that's it for now. Think while it's still legal.